succeed or empower yourself, or at least control your weaknesses and improve them. So it's important to know ourselves, to grow, to surround ourselves with positive people, and at the same time to keep learning and have this mentality that we have to grow every day and keep learning. You grow either by reading books, surrounding yourself with positive people, and by building up on the skills that you have. And the last thing, or there's a lot of things, but the most important thing is evaluating yourself and knowing what you can do by reflection and evaluation. The first session we talked about awareness, about the intentionality, that you need to be intentional in your growth. You don't think, I think Michael a little bit relate, because he's been in the IT. It's a lot of technical field, and you learn everything in the university, but most people in the technical, just like me in medical lab, we think the education stops when we take a degree. Then we have to start to do the practice and the work. But this is really when education should start, because you should start to educate yourself in life, not only in the domain that you are learning. So you have to be intentional about it. The second session, we talked about awareness, how important it is to know ourselves, know what we like, what we don't like. And now we need to talk about the law of the mirror. Law of the mirror says you must see value in yourself to add value to yourself. You must see value in yourself to add value to yourself. The point is, everyone has potential. Everyone was born in this life having certain potential, certain gift. But unfortunately, big percentage of people don't develop this potential, and this potential, they finish their life with their potential unfulfilled. And as they say, they come and go to this life by doing nothing and making no difference. Do you relate to that? What makes people achieve their potential and what makes people not develop it? Mainly, one of the main reasons people don't achieve their potential is because they have low self-esteem. If you don't believe that you can achieve something, if you believe in the limits that you draw to yourself or your surrounding draw to you, then you won't be able to achieve it. When I grow up as a girl, and all the time the surrounding is telling me, you're a B student, you're a C student, this is how I am labeled. I won't work hard to be the A student. I have the potential. Everyone has this potential. But the only thing that was stopping me, because I believed that I'm a B student, I didn't push myself to work hard to be an A, because I'm a B. This is me. So there's a lot of possibilities in every person. God put wonderful things in our lives, but we underestimate the value that we have in ourselves. I need you to start sharing right now. This is open discussion. I won't be doing much teaching. I will give you the general idea, and I ask you all to elaborate on that. You're free to unmute your mic, because unless you have really bad noise around you, but you can keep it unmuted, because I want your expressions and your sharing. I need to know list of some barriers that you know that affect you or affect people around you, that stops them from achieving their potential. I talked about self-esteem, but what are the things that affect their self-esteem or makes a person grow with a low self-esteem?
I think it's the experiences. Cynthia, can you mute yours, please? It's echoing. Microphone. Thank you. So I think that what happens is that people, how they're raised is their future. It's what they experienced. So I always, so people kind of reflect on what they went through, and that alone affects their self-esteem moving forward.
Yeah, it's greatly affected by how they are raised, but there are also some of the beliefs in their thoughts, experiences, but even when they grow up, some people pass through certain experiences or see some examples around them that let them say, oh, I can't do that. Who can share?
Can you repeat the question, Dalita?
List of some of the known barriers to your potential, or some people around you who have these barriers that you know if they overcome these, what's stopping them is inside of them, not the actual potential.
Why I think that I believe that one of them is the closest one is our parents. A lot of times, our parents set our own barriers. You know what I mean? They'll tell you, oh, like you said, you're a C student, or you know, she's not. She works very hard, or she's not very smart, or you know, I'm gonna give you an example. My you know, when I was growing up, my mom, you know, I was told that I was how can I say that I was one of the smartest girls in the classroom, right? And I studied very hard. That's why I was one of the smartest, right? I studied very hard, but I was told that over and over again. So I grew up believing that, right? Which is not a bad thing. But that's one of the things that I think your parents create that barrier. You know what? You're not very smart. Maybe you should just stop school and go to work. Or even your teachers, you know, your parents, your teachers are the ones that determine, and they start developing your brain. Oh, you know, you're not very smart, so you got to work harder and things. And you know, the closest people, like Arthur said, the surroundings are the ones that are being.
Yeah. So mainly it's how we were raised. Can you share any other reason anyone would like to share? Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, Michael, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. So I think that for a lot of us in our jobs and in our life, we want to be successful, right? And so it's the fear of failure. I recently saw something interesting from Steve Jobs, which mentioned that you would basically have to be willing to fail in order to achieve what you think is beyond your limits. And so for me, you know, it's just having that open mindset and understanding that failure is part of the discovery process.
Yeah.
And that it's important to growth, and that you also shouldn't assume that you would fail. I think that's a big fear. People maybe assume that they're not qualified, or they've never done anything, or they don't have certain experience that would be needed. But just because you don't have that, I mean, I can speak from my own experience. Prior to having a certain experience in my job doesn't mean that you can't overcome and just learn and be successful at that just because you've never done it.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of people don't like to be. John Maxwell says something: you want to succeed, you need to understand that people must see you in your bad situation. You should accept to be down, and people see you down and failing. We are scared a lot of our image towards other people. What will people think of us? And this is what is stopping us from achieving our potential most of the time. Sarah, Maisha, who likes to share?
I'm unmuted. Okay, good. I also wanted to add, growing up, I was programmed like by culture that I need to choose a career that down the line in the future when I have children, it's a career that fits my schedule as a mother. You know, when my children go to school, I'm, you know, and when they're off. So anyway, instead of saying the sky's the limit, they would say, well, choose a career, you know, down the line in the future. Remember, you're going to have kids, and you know, you have to fit that certain role. Where now, you know, I think about it, I have the mindset, but growing up, I had that limited, I feel limited window of opportunity because, oh, one day I'm going to be a mom. So I need to be flexible with my schedule. I cannot be this, you know, CEO busy
Yeah.
you know, corporate America type of thing. So
yeah, it's the same. Like you're a woman, you can do this, or this
yes.
mentality. Yeah.
So it really affected me, just like career wise, but I'm now trying to, tell younger generations, don't do what I did. The sky's the limit. There are a lot of careers that allow the flexibility. So don't use that as, that
Excuse.
excuse. Yeah.
Misha, you like to say?
Hi,
Hi, thank you for joining.
you're welcome. So for me, I actually went through that. Growing up, however, I was always told that I was beautiful, I was this, I was that. But as I got older and started to experience life, I went through a big thing of my, self-esteem, insecurities. I went through not believing in myself. So
Mhm.
again, like the gentleman said, I think a lot of times it is our experiences that causes those things. And two, as parents, we don't and I'm just saying parents as a whole. A lot of parents don't instill the importance of telling your children you are beautiful, you are important, you are somebody, just to help them grow up to know those things as a child, because as they grow up and life happens, then they have to try to learn how we're learning, basically.
Yep.
They won't be able to go back and say, oh, I remember my mom telling me this, or instilling a spiritual sense of things into them. So I went through that in my personal life, where I didn't feel, people would say you're beautiful. I didn't feel beautiful because I was going through so much. It's easy for somebody to tell you that you're this, but you don't feel that way. So for me, I had to actually dig deep into myself and do some soul searching. I started working on my mindset, because a lot of times it's just how we feel about ourselves, at the end of the day. People can feel how they want to, but how do you feel about yourself? So
Yes.
with that's what helped me get through my times of depression and insecurities and low self-esteem. And I also recently wrote a book for children. It's called Positive Affirmations, so
Okay.
that parents can have something to read to their children, or let them read it. And it tells them you are loved, you are important, you were created for a purpose, you're this, so that we can start teaching our kids of this generation coming to not have to experience so much of what we did.
Yep. Previously or before, parents didn't know the effect of this or positive
Right.
talking and all this on raising their children. But I want to move away a little bit from being raised. I had experience of suffering from low self-image, not because of how I was raised or of the experience I passed through, but it was when I came out of my comfort zone. Like I was in Lebanon, I was successful, I was working perfectly, I have this high confidence, high self-esteem. But when I moved to the state, I felt it's only me. I have nothing behind me, nothing, no history, no people are surrounding me to support me. So I lost this high self-esteem and started to think of myself as someone with no experience, no history, nothing, and I should start over from zero. And seeing myself in this image make people see me in this image. So the opportunities I got, the people I meet and hang around are people who are on this certain level, entry-level jobs, entry-level employees. Those are the people I connected to because this is how I saw myself. When you decide to see yourself in a different way, people will see you in a different way. So sometimes it's not about how you were raised or your experience. It's also when you face a challenge, when you face a difficulty in your life, when you go outside of your comfort zone, you will feel this doubt in your self-image and self-esteem. Now, Can anyone share what's the difference between self-image and self-esteem?
When you say image, it's a. Go ahead, Michael. Go ahead.
All right. I was just going to take a guess. I think that self-image is how you think others see you, and self-esteem is how you feel on the inside.
Yes, it's something like self-esteem is how you value yourself in the inside. Self-image, how you see yourself, and at the same time, you think others see you. So to have higher self-esteem, you have to have higher image of yourself, because this is what will give you greater value. They are really related, but they are really different, because if you put yourself in a perfect image from the outside, perfect look, perfect body, everything, but you have low value of yourself, you will still behave as something with low self-value, and you won't achieve your potential. Have you suffered any situation like mine where you feel you underestimating your, mining your image, or you putting yourself in a place where maybe you started a new job and you kept treating yourself as the new person and you don't know anything, and this is how people started treating you? So do you have any situation like this you like to share? Only me?
Yeah, I definitely do actually, Dalit. I just started, well, I guess just is relative, but 2 years ago I started, year and a half, thereabouts, in my current role. And basically the role that I thought I was getting into was very different than the role that I ended up getting into. I ultimately became a product/project manager for UCLA Health. And I was coming from like an analyst position where I was programming and I was writing reports. And so I'm more of an introvert by nature. So it was very jarring for me to be thrown into that environment and to be expected to basically perform at a higher level, or as if I had that experience. And so that for me, it definitely was an adjustment period, and I was questioning why I was chosen, because I didn't really have the experience. It was kind of funny the way it happened, I guess. But for me, yeah, that was a point where I felt like I was starting at zero in terms of experience managing projects, and then all of a sudden going to becoming a project manager and having those expectations placed on you.
How is this still affecting you now from improving?
Well, I mean, it's been basically working at the edge of my comfort zone for pretty much the entire time. And so where I started is very different than I think where I am now. And it just came through the daily practice of, trying to do the best job that I could and trying to understand, what was expected and then how to learn those skills. So part of that was like, off hours research, looking into product management, listening to podcasts, doing things like this. So that's what I've done.
Okay. Do you think this still has an effect on your advancement in the future? Is it still maybe doubting your qualifications or your experience is affecting you from a promotion or improving or increasing your level? Now, I'm saying.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. Maybe subconsciously, but also, in ways I'm going up against people with years or decades of experience. And so that, it's like, do I really belong here? Those kind of thoughts go, into your head, or like, is this really for me? Or like, why did this happen when this was not what I was expecting? So those sort of negative thoughts definitely can, and maybe have held me back at some points before.
Okay. Does anyone like to share something like similar experience?
Well, I think that, a lot of times we tend to compare to to other people, you know, and I'm guilty of that. And where you compare to other people and you say, okay, wait a minute, why is that person doing this? And maybe, Michael, is something when you're maybe going through, why is that person doing so much better? Or why is that person there where I want to be? And why am I still here? Or, you know, how come I don't have what they have? And so we are comparing, and that can be very frustrating, and that can affect our self-esteem also, and our performance, because we're not focused on us. We're not focused on our, because we're all different, right? We all have, everybody has their time, everybody's different. And one thing that was hard for me to understand is that if we're now there with somebody, or we don't have what somebody else has, is because it's not meant to be ours yet. And we have to go through the process, but we don't understand that, you know, yes, it's good to compete and work hard to be where we want to be, but without comparing, because we're not all the same, and everybody's situation is the same, and that can really affect our mind, you know, how we perform and how we feel about ourselves.
Yep, totally. Actually, you are how things are going. It's these 2 points I am going to discuss later, right now, after, but I like to see if anyone else likes to share. Yes, Sarah.
So I'd like to add, I've been a realtor for about 7 years, and I'm one of the youngest actually in the company. So I always feel like everybody around me is, you know, knows more, knows better, and I'm always not hiding, but I feel like, oh, no, they know more. Let's hear what they have to say. So my self-image, I guess, is how I see myself, because I'm comparing myself to others. But there's incidents where the company owners or, you know, much more experienced agents call me for advice. And sometimes I say, I guess I must know a thing or two, because, you know, so-and-so is calling me for, you know, about a contract and about some legal terms. But I don't see that right away. But others just see, I guess, the value, or the 7 years that I've been doing real estate, to me, is so little, but I believe that it's 7 years has some value in my career. So that's why agents do call me. And later on, I realize that I need to give myself a little bit more credit than, you know.
Yeah, exactly. You underestimate what you can do, what you do, because sometimes also you aren't putting yourself outside of your comfort zone. But
Yeah, and
when
I feel
you are stretched, you will notice your abilities.
Yeah, and that I feel has been holding me back from, you know, seeing that. So yeah, thank you for letting me share.
Anyone else likes to share? Okay, so we were talking about self-image and self-esteem. One of the most important things to guard or to increase our self-esteem and self-image is by guarding our self-talk. I always like to say a word, kill those ants, the automatic negative thoughts, A-N-T, automatic negative thoughts, because they are in everyone's mind. And the hardest thing is what we say to ourselves. Maybe I won't believe what Sarah says about me, but I can't not believe what I say about myself. So if I talk to myself with negative words, you can't do that, you are not smart, you are not qualified, you don't know this, I won't know them, because I will believe myself. This is the simplest explanation. And how we act is how we will become, and what we say out to ourselves decides how we will be acting. So no one reached any place in his life if he was saying to himself, I can't do that. No one. If you go back to all the history, all the achievements, you will see that the people who are achieved these things are the people who everyone thought they are crazy. They said, I will do this, and everyone thought they are crazy, but it's the self-talk that they were saying to themselves is what proved to be right. Because you can't lie with what you're saying. If you say you can't do it, you can do it. And if you say you can, then you can do it. The second thing is comparison. Comparing yourself, as Cynthia said, comparing yourself to other people greatly affects your self-esteem. And it affects your self-esteem in both ways. If you compared yourself to people who are ahead of you, you will be demotivated. You will feel down. You feel that they are ahead of you and start making excuses why you are not there. And when you make excuses to yourself, you settle down to not pursue what you want to pursue. But the second thing about comparison, if you compare yourself to people who are below you, and this is also dangerous because you will feel pride, you will feel power, and you will, it's like the story, you know the story of the turtle and the rabbit? When they were racing and the rabbit was comparing himself to the turtle, so he stopped even doing, I'm the top one in the company, I don't need to go further because there's a long way for the others to reach me, so you stop trying. So comparison in both cases is really dangerous. The only way you have to compare yourself is to yourself. Challenge yourself to be today better than you were yesterday, and to be tomorrow better than you were today. You have to go into this process of continuous improvement and continuous working to beat your other self from the day before. Do you have any experience with comparing? Cynthia shared before her experience. What, Cynthia? You unmuted.
Oh, no. Muting.
Okay, any story about comparing?
Well, I think for instance, in my business, it's tend to be competition, right? And people, like I said, they compare to others that maybe are ahead of them, or maybe they, whatever the case may be, that according to that person makes them better. And then therefore they tell themselves, you know what, I'm not good at this because I can't do that. And then they stop, right? They stop because they don't give themselves time. And, you know, it's not going to take a month. It's not going to take 2 months. It's not going to take a year or even 3 years. It may take longer for us to be experts, but literally comparing, it can literally stop you. But if we stay consistent, if we know, you know what, I can't compare to other person, I just got to focus on myself, learn what do I have to focus on getting better, and then my time is gonna come. I just gotta stay like the, what did you say, the rabbit and the hare?
Turtle, yeah.
The turtle was consistent, even though she was slow and slow and slow, she didn't compare, she just kept going and eventually passed the rabbit, right? And
yeah.
So it's the same thing with us. We just gotta stay consistent, focus in us, and just know that maybe we won't get at the same time. We won't get there at the same time, but we will get there. Just gotta stay on it.
Arthur.
Cynthia, can you please? I want to echo. I don't say a lot, but I'm gonna say I haven't compared myself since I was like 15 years of age, and that's why I really didn't say anything. But I want to say you got to run your own race, and you know I think a lot of people, like you say, they start looking at other people and they start judging themselves or holding themselves back based upon somebody else's experience. You know, I always say this here, you know, is that, you know, you ain't got to be the best, but you can't do it. And I've just gotten to the point to where I just run my own race. I mean, I don't look to my left and right. I said, look, you know what? I know that they can do it. I can do it. And I learned that, you know, and some of the things that we talk about here, and I've experienced in the Marine Corps, is just we taught that. It's like, man, you got to know where you're going. And I never get caught. I mean, and my mom and dad's raised me that way. As a young child, my mom's always told me that, what, the beauty comes from you. You got to tell yourself you're beautiful. You got to tell yourself that you're awesome. And just like Lita said, that self-talk is so important. I tell myself every day I drive home or by myself, I'm telling myself how amazing I am. Because if I don't believe it, nobody else will. Right? So I got to believe it first. So therefore, I always compare. I'm always trying to get to the next better version of Arthur, the better version of me, personal development, reading, telling myself, hey, where you're going. I don't, sometimes we look for other people's validations. You got to consider the source. I always do. Who's saying it and stuff. So I just believe that you got to write your goals down. You got to look in the mirror and go, hey, you know what? I'm trying to get this. And if it's going to happen, it's because I'm going to determine it's going to happen. That's all that matters and stuff. So I'm always trying to become the better version of me. And some people like you and some don't. But guess what? As long as you know what you're doing is right for you, it's all that matters and stuff. So
exactly. Yep. Mayisha, do you like to share? Are you still with us? And Elsa, you are welcome to share anytime you feel you can add a value to our conversation. Okay, I don't want to stress on you, but you are welcome. Your English must be better than mine, so don't worry.
No, I don't want to share right now, but I am with you guys.
Okay, great. Okay, now we want to play like a little game. I'm giving you $1,000 credit card limit. A credit card with $1,000. This is the maximum you can spend. What will you buy with it?
I'm buying me some. What if you give me $1,000? What would Arthur buy with it? I will go buy me. Really, I would invest in my business. I'd buy some personal development stuff. I think it'll be personal development stuff to continue to build upon me or to help other people achieve their goals and dreams.
Okay, that's great. So who else likes to share? I'm giving you $1,000. What you will buy with it?
Well, for me right now, considering my situation, I would either pay for some extra nights at the hotel or, try to find a place to be able to put the down payment on.
Okay. Who else?
So I think for me, I would like to use that credit to cover my costs of not working or however many, let's say a week or something. And that way I would just focus on myself and figure out where I want to go and just get everything so that I have a clear picture in my mind, because a lot of times I feel like I'm so busy trying to meet my work deadlines and deliverables that I don't have any time or energy left over for myself. And so that kind of, the personal aspect of that kind of gets pushed aside for those work demands.
So I will take it for coaching. I'll do coaching for you. I'll take it back. Okay, who likes to share?
I will definitely figure out how to make that double or triple that money.
Oh my God, with the investment lady, okay.
So reinvest it, and then like Arthur, right? I'm a business owner, so I would have to invest it in my business also, because eventually that's gonna double or triple.
Okay, got it. Sarah.
Just like what Cynthia said, and Arthur, and also Michael, I would invest in myself, self-development. And I feel like when you invest in yourself, that also will multiply
okay.
as well. But it's only $1,000.
It's only $1,000. Okay, if this credit card was unlimited, what would you buy?
That's different.
I know.
I'm gonna tell you what my goal is. I always want to own a 50 complex building where I help battered moms and single mothers. So I will most definitely go and buy me a 50 unit building, and I'll put some moms in there, and I will help them. I will pay for them to go to work and get school for a year, to help them. So that's what I would do. I would most definitely go and achieve that goal.
Nice.
I would, you know, my kids, my family has been very patient. You know, when it comes to owning a business, you have to, if you want to get big results, you gotta do massive action, take massive action in your business, right? So it takes time and different sacrifices. And I would actually, you know, take a trip to, I don't know, a great place. Like I know my kids would love to go to Hawaii, right? So I would definitely treat them to something special because they sacrifice time, you know, with mom,
Okay.
and but also, you know,
And your own private plane.
Yes, on a private plane.
It's
first,
unlimited.
everything. And this is also that I also envision like one day having the opportunity to do like meditate, learning from like some of the top people and learn meditation and just really, you know, do the top of the top personal development really gets to the bottom of your soul.
Okay, that's nice. Sarah, unlimited.
So unlimited. So I'm not just saying this because I'm on, you know, in front of everyone, but I did have, like I was thinking to myself yesterday, you know, if I did win the lottery, well, what would my plan be? You know, how would I spend that money? And it was funny because I wasn't just saying things. I was really like saying something and then taking it back and saying, well, is that the right move to do? I'm a single mom, and I was thinking I'd like to, I don't want to like necessarily retire, but I want to be
Not to
in a
have to
career
work.
where I feel like I am valued, not to have to work, but I do want to work because I enjoy what I'm doing and I'm adding value.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one where I can, you know, take it easy. But I would like to invest in my son. I feel like, I don't know if it's the guilt in me where I feel like I'm focusing on me, but I would like to enhance or instill skills. My son's almost 10 years old, but set him on the right path, maybe coding or, you know, engineering and
Yeah.
a lot of things.
What's the one thing that you will buy, but with unlimited credit card? Something you will get.
Well, at first it was skills for my son, but if that's not a thing, I was thinking of an investment property where to generate monthly income.
You have unlimited card. You don't need investment. You already have it. Michael.
Well, then I would, you know, like I said, I was thinking about my son.
Yeah.
I'd like for him he really loves basketball. I think that I would invest in his basketball skills.
Okay. Michael.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely want to take as much as I could and donate it to like worthy causes and support, you know, noble causes and charities and that sort of thing. But I would also want to use it to create a business that would do good and help other people. And yeah, just probably buy a bunch of stuff that I don't have access to currently.
Okay. Maisha.
Well, I would, with unlimited credit, that's my goal anyway, but I want to be able to have like a center or something for homeless people. That needs a place to stay, but it's not going to be like, it'll be like transitional. So they'll come in, they'll stay for a little while, but they have also the resources to get a job. They'll have the transportation to get back and forth to work. So it'll kind of be like helping them get back on their feet from their current situation that they were in. You know, I want to be
Nice.
To help people with financial hardships, because I've been there. So that literally has been my goal for the past 5 years. To be able to have a place to help people transition into a better lifestyle. And even children, you know, how whichever way God leads me to do so, that is what my goal is. So that money will help me with everything: the center, the resources, the transportation, the finances, just to be that one person that can help change someone's life for the better.
I got you. That's so nice. I like the dreaming situation you are in right now. What I want to clarify from this exercise, when I limited your ability to $1,000, your dreams were low up to this level. Your dreams couldn't cross or this limiting number that I put to you. And the same one, when there was no limits, you went ahead with your dreams and you had unlimited dreams. And it's the same with the beliefs you have inside of you. When you limit your beliefs that you can achieve this much, you can't achieve more. And the same if you leave your beliefs, your limits, and know that you can achieve everything that you can. You can get this unlimited credit card if you believe you can do it. So this is the power of limiting beliefs. And the higher your beliefs are with no limits, the more you will be powerful and the more you will have higher esteem, self-esteem, and the more you will be able to achieve your potential. It's all about the limits you put into yourself. So I need to, if you like to discuss it, discuss it. If you like to keep it to yourself, but please answer these questions. Identify a limiting belief that you want to change. Everyone has a certain limiting belief right now. If you dig deep inside yourself, you will know that there's something that is limiting you. Excuse you are giving yourself that is stopping you from crossing to the next level.
Well, I think that, just an example, if we look into our wallets, then that's what we believe we can afford, right? However, if we say, you know what, it doesn't matter how much I have in my wallet or how much I have right now, but I will be able to buy that Mercedes. You know, I can afford it because I don't know how I'm going to be able to afford it, but I can afford it. The money's coming and it's just going to be possible. So I believe that we limit our beliefs I'm just comparing that to financially, right? We limit it to depend on what we have at that moment.
Yeah. Robert Kiyosaki always says, don't tell yourself, I can't get that or I can't afford that. Always say, how can I afford that? It's all the matter of what you ask yourself. When you say, I can't get this thing, you give up and you say, okay, I can't get it. But when you say, how can I get this thing? You will keep looking, even if you didn't really think about it, but in your unconscious mind, you will be thinking of ways to get this or to afford certain thing in your life. So identify a limiting belief that you want to change. Anyone likes to share before I move to the next question? Yes, Sarah.
I don't know if it's a limiting belief, but maybe indirectly it is. Sometimes I feel like if you dream and want things, it's not a sense of being selfish, but like greed. So I try to not want things, but then I feel like that's holding me back, because if I'm not dreaming for certain things, then I'm just content where I'm at. I don't know if that's a limited belief, or a limiting belief, but do you kind of get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it, because some people say, I don't want to be successful because people will hate me. I will become greedy. They have these limiting beliefs, or money is the base of all evil, or what do they say? So people think this way: if I got successful, my friends will be away from me, and it will create this tension. And this will stop me from being successful because I don't want to lose my friend.
Yeah.
So in your case, maybe you're scared to feel greedy if you want $1 million, let's say.
Yeah, and I'm not a materialistic person, so I'm not sure how I can want things without making it seem like I'm running towards the materialistic things. But this is, I guess, part of my awareness, like, you know, I'm not a materialistic person, but I do want to move forward in life. I don't want to stay, you know, in my comfort zone. So how can I change this mindset that wanting things is not from greed, but it's
And
Okay. Go ahead, Arthur.
you answer that. You know, I mean, I feel you on that. I mean, I know a lot of people that feel that way. They feel like they're like, you feel like, what if I go do this, and then people think I'm this greedy, selfish person. Cynthia, mute yourself, please. The way you get away with that is that you say, I deserve it. You deserve it. I mean, if you work hard for it, you deserve it. I mean, you're not here to please people. You're here to please Sarah. So if Sarah works hard enough, then Sarah rates whatever Sarah desires to get. And there's people that are looking at you going, you know, you're always going to have some haters. They validate you. So, I mean, if Sarah wants to go get it, Sarah go get it. Who cares what anybody thinks? The right people look at you and go, man, they fan your flames. The wrong people, who cares? And that's where you got to say, I work hard for this, you know what? And you get to enjoy that stuff. So that's what I want to say. You deserve it.
Let me share with you, Sarah, my situation. And you know it, but you don't know this feeling part of it. When I decided to move to the States, it was me and my daughter. And she is really connected to my parents and my sisters. They raised her for like 12 years. And the decision to take her away from all this environment, and even me leaving my mom and my sisters and coming to the States, was a really hard decision for me. And in certain times when my sister misses really my daughter and she's calling, she makes me feel that I'm greedy and I'm selfish and I didn't think of them when I decided the move. I decided to move for me. But on the other side, the situation is bad in Lebanon. So I had to look for another option because Lebanon isn't up to my dreams or potential anymore. I needed to move somewhere where I can raise my potential. But it's not only for me. If it was only for me, I will stay in Lebanon because there's values you put. It's family or achieving your dreams. You waste things up, but it's not about me only. Me being selfish and moving away from them is also for them and for my daughter and for being able to provide to them and to my daughter. Maybe the situation will go bad in Lebanon more, so I need to be here to help them go over all this situation. You understand? So sometimes achieving the things you like in life, it's not only for you. It's for the people who you care for, who you were around. If I get $1 million, it's not only for me. I will open a company to help families. I provide some families with income. I will maybe have charity. Mishaya will open a house for people who are homeless and less fortunate. Michael will donate for charity. Cynthia will go to Hawaii to provide for her, to give back for her children who she left for a long time. So everyone has a reason. Being successful in this life doesn't only affect you. It's a blessing for everyone who you can touch in your life. You can't be greedy by wanting to be better, right? Does anyone like to share?
I would like to share. So just to touch on Sarah, sweetheart, it starts with you. You have to believe within yourself, like the gentleman said, that you deserve it. Because you wanting things has nothing to do with you being greedy or anything like that. Those are your desires. Those are the things that you want, whether it's for you or your family. So I just encourage you to pull up the law of attraction. Pull up listening to I am affirmations. I'm telling you this because that's what I did. So I don't have those undeserving thoughts or nothing like that, because I've been practicing the law of attraction for like the last 5 months. So I actually don't experience those thoughts anymore because that's what I'm doing. I say to myself, I am grateful for my 6-bedroom house. You know, I don't have a 6-bedroom house. I just told you where I'm currently at, but that is my desire, and I have a reason for that. So I say to you, start speaking and writing down the things that you want. I don't care what it is. And just say, I am grateful for this. You know, I'm grateful for what you want. And then you can also say, I am so grateful now that I have. That's like speaking it into existence. And just listen to affirmations, listen to positive meditations on YouTube. YouTube became my best friend, especially for the past few months, because I've been going through a lot for the last 2 years. So YouTube has kind of been my go-to when I'm feeling down, or if I'm having those negative thoughts, or if I feel a certain way. And it's important for us to speak to ourselves, because how you speak to yourself is what you're going to manifest. And that's pretty much it.
Thank you.
The secret in the law of attraction, and saying your affirmations.
I will send you a course I have about law of attraction. You will read it. You have homework before next week. Okay, so identify the limiting belief that you have that you want to change. Determine how this belief limits you, and decide how you want to act, feel, or think. And turn around the statement of this limiting belief and get the affirmations. Give yourself permission to act, feel, and think in a different way from your limiting belief. Does anyone like to share their limiting beliefs, or we shall move on to another subject?
I think that not necessarily a specific limiting belief, but just being aware of those like hidden or subconscious sort of tendencies that we have, because I consider myself pretty adaptable to situations in life. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, as you were talking about the, going from I can't to how can I was thinking like, what are those things that I say I can't to? And at first I was like, well, I don't really know. And then I was thinking about it more, and I'm like, yeah, maybe I do have some of those things that in the way I behave and my habits that just are not, they're just like those hidden things that you might not necessarily pick up on. But in the end, they are limiting. And so just being more aware of what those are, I think would be really helpful, at least for me personally.
Yeah, I agree. Now you will notice during the week, as you pass through life and you pass through some experiences, you will relate greatly to the things we are talking about now. Sometimes really there are things that aren't aware of, and maybe you don't get when it goes up shallow when we start talking about it, but when you face an experience, you will relate and you feel how deep it will trigger you. I want to you to write down. Do you have pen and paper in front of you? Okay, 3 statements. I am, I can, and I am able. How do you complete these 3 statements?
Oh, and I will.
And I will, just for you.
What's those 3 again? You said I am, I can, and I'm able?
I am able, and I will for Mishia.
I can, I am, and I'm able, right?
Yes.
And I will. That's what you said.
Okay. Anyone likes to share?
I am the best. I can do whatever I choose to do, and I'm able to accomplish whatever I put my mind to.
What's one thing that you will put your mind to and you will be able to achieve it? Let's be specific. One goal.
Would be, oh, I'm gonna say it. Maybe it's Eric. I don't know. I want to be that guy. I always said I want to be known for the guy that helps people. So I understand that I got to go at it. I know it's going to require some sacrifice and stuff, but I want people to always remember. I want to be a legendary person that remembers Arthur's Cemetery for the guy that changed people's lives. Honestly, so that's why I want to be that guy known for. So that's so that's what I'm going for, and I can achieve it.
Yep.
Yep.
Who likes to share? You know, the more public you make your dreams or goals, the more likely they will be achieved.
All right, let me say it then.
Okay.
I can make $100 million. I am owner of $100 million, and I'm able to make $100 million.
That's not, she's not greedy.
And I will make $100
I
million.
will make $100.
And I will make $100 million, and they are on their way.
That's great. Okay, you know Paul Martinelli. He's one of the he's the president of the John Maxwell team, and he started his career. He was a janitor. He had a cleaning company, and he used to clean. He's a high school dropout. He goes to clean companies and nightclubs, restaurants. So this was his career. And in less than a couple of years, he was able to have several multi-million dollars company, build these companies. One of them is the John Maxwell team. And one time he was discussing the Think and Grow Rich book for Napoleon Hill. And he said, how I talk to my people, to my team and employees, I don't tell them we are planning to do this. I talk to them as if, I don't tell them I will do this. I tell them I did this. So always his way of talking to people is always about something accomplished. When I plan something, I am doing it. So he doesn't say I will be a millionaire. He says I'm a millionaire right now. And this is how the people are used to act. It's not we will do this project. This project is done. Now we have to do the steps that aren't countable because it's all here. When we decide on something, it's done. The acts are like, the actions we do are secondary. They don't matter. It's only a process. Yes, Sarah.
I'd like to share my my list, but not now. Maybe after our meeting. I'd like to think of more specific, I guess, or goals. But right now, what I have is I'm worthy. I can succeed. I am able to make a difference, and I will fulfill my dreams. So these are just really general and broad ideas, and I feel like what Cynthia did, maybe I don't want to make $100 million, but I just really like that you did set a certain goal for yourself. Because if I am worthy, I can succeed. Well, I know the sky's the limit, but I feel like I do want to be more specific with my affirmations and my goals. So
okay, you can share it with me, Sarah, privately, and we talk about it, or you can share it on the Facebook group. I have a Facebook group. It's called Like-Minded Leaders, where we are posting some summary of the things that are happening here, and also some questions and some motivation. Now, this group started a week ago. There's no much interaction in it. I'm trying to do my best to keep posting, but I intend to ask questions that motivate you, even if you didn't comment, but I appreciate commenting. But even if you didn't, at least the question, reading the question will trigger you during the day, and this is the goal. It's always, we don't need to look for the results. We need to care more for the actions that we do. And this is the biggest mistakes for entrepreneurs. When they start working on a project, they always keep looking for a result. They forget to guard their actions and keep controlling their actions. They care for the results only. The third way to raise our self-esteem is by helping others. When we have low self-esteem, we always think of ourselves as victims. And when we are victims, we tend to do the behavior to protect ourselves. We become greedy and selfish because we want to protect ourselves. And if you can see, or you can look around you and see people with low self-esteem are the people who raise their voice most, argue, always are protective and attacking other people just because they don't have this inner confidence and esteem that they always want to clarify what's, or not to clarify, what's the word? Sarah, help me, برروا. Justify, that's it, I forgot it. Thank you, Sarah. So yes, they always tend to justify and want to make themselves victims. This is at the end. So when you help others, you feel good about yourself. You will raise your self-esteem. How many people feel good when they give their hand to other people, when they save a family, when they smile to someone else? It's not necessarily giving them financial things or material things. Sometimes a kind word, a good action, how much it changed, not in their world, in your world. Do you agree that it's very hard to feel bad for yourself when you are doing something good for others?
Yes, I agree.
I do.
I met a friend once who was helping a lot of people, but he was whining about he's not appreciated. He says, I'm doing a lot for these people and they are not appreciating what I'm doing. I'm not getting a thank you and all of this. And my answer was, if you are doing this for the thank you, stop doing it. Because helping people is for you, not for them. Maybe I help someone and give him some money or lunch or Thanksgiving dinner. It's one time for him. I support him for a certain period of time, but the value it brings to me, the self-esteem it brings back to me is a lot more than the amount of help I give this person. So when you help people, don't expect the reward from them. It's you are getting the reward by feeling that you are a good person, by feeling you're good about yourself. Does anyone like to share about this subject?
Yeah, and you know, when helping people, if it's not from the heart, you will have those negative feelings of, you know, looking for something back. So if you don't know what that's like, if you don't remember, if you don't do it from the heart, then you'll be feeling a certain type of way. Oh, they're not appreciative, you know, things like that. But if it's from the heart, you won't even worry about what the other person is doing or how they're doing this, or, you know, you won't have those feelings. But just to go back to what you were saying, so my affirmations, and this is something that I already do and write down, is I am a billionaire. I can achieve my goal of changing lives. I am able to make it to that goal, and I will do it. And then I write, it's done, with a date next to it.
Nice.
That's a little inspiration for you guys. Make sure when you're doing your affirmations or writing what you're grateful for, or whatever it is, put a date next to it. And look forward to reaching it at that time. That's what I do.
This is SMART goals.
Yeah.
Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timeable. This is how they should be. Anyone else who likes to share?
I'd like to add, I like when people like give me compliments, but I'm not out searching like for the compliments, but I see how it makes me feel when you know, people see things that I don't see in myself, not physical, but for example, I do certain things, and then this person noticed and said, wow, I really like how when you're passionate about something, you go and you do it like with all your heart. And that made me realize, like, oh, you know, they're right. I am passionate about certain things, and that's something that I should be proud of, because I do things with 100, like my 100%. I do things with my heart. And so just seeing how when people compliment me, when I see something in others, I felt like I have to let them know that I value that in them, and that I'm an introvert. So I process things internally. I don't speak it out. And these are things that I do point out to myself, that just, you know, a little can go a long way, and to compliment others, and you know, notice and highlight those traits and characteristics, so that people can do more of those things.
Got you. By the way, Michael is an introvert. Sarah is an introvert. I am an introvert. One of the limiting beliefs that I had is that I'm introvert. I can't achieve because I'm not sociable. I don't talk much, and all these limits for introverts. I thought before that the people who are able to talk more, be more sociable, have more like social life, are the people who will succeed, and introverts are the people who like to stay alone. And I'm a medical lab graduate. That's why I'm always in the lab working with bacteria and viruses, and I'm not that sociable. So how can I succeed? When I started in self-development, I discovered that Eric Worre is an introvert. John Maxwell is an introvert. Brendan Burchard is an introvert. So a lot of high performance people are introverts. So it's not a negative skill or a negative behavioral style. It's something positive, because sometimes extroverts, or what's the other word they say, the people who are outgoing, they don't sit and listen. They talk more than they listen and absorb. So it's something greatly positive to be an introvert. It's not a limiting belief, and it's not like, because I'm introvert, this is what happened. No, because you're introvert, this is what you can do. Do the right thing, even it was the hard thing. And
yeah, I think that,
yep, go ahead.
no, I just agree with everything that you said. It does give you that time to reflect, right? When you pause. And you know, I think it's just being aware of who you are is really the important thing. Whether you're introvert or extrovert shouldn't really matter, but knowing yourself and your strengths and what works for you, I think that's really what at least has helped me as I learned, you know, sort of those tendencies and how to deal with my fears as an introvert, and the fact that, like you mentioned, shouldn't be perceived as a negative thing by any means. And then I wanted to share my little 3 statements here. So I have,
okay.
I am focused on refining and achieving my personal goals.
What are your personal goals? Fast, but what are the personal goals?
Well, ultimately, I'd like to have a successful business, I guess would be the top one right now.
Okay.
I will take time for my goals outside of my day job. And I am able to physically manifest the goals that I do have.
Okay. Physically or mentally?
Well, physically, I think they're already here, right? So it's how to take them from here into reality.
Okay, there's another Meshia. I added you anyway. Okay, that's great. Anyone else likes to share? No. Okay, now the 5th thing to increase or develop your self-esteem, go into higher level of self-esteem, is doing the right thing, even if it's the hard. It's really simple. We always do the right things, but sometimes we forgive ourselves when doing something wrong. Sometimes this wrong is not like hurting someone else, but sometimes wrong is being easy on ourselves and procrastinating. And when we procrastinate, one of the things that are affect or are the wrong things, when we procrastinate, we always feel this guilt. We shouldn't procrastinate. We shouldn't waste this time. We shouldn't allow ourselves to be distracted. But this guilt will kill us from inside and will lower our self-esteem. Will lower our belief in ourselves, and we will have more doubts. So if you can't be true to yourself, who will you be true to? When was the time that you felt you did something you believe it's wrong and it wasn't right, and you felt this guilt and this low self-esteem? You start hiding from yourself and from others. Everyone did, so don't make that you are perfect right now. Yes, Sarah.
I have this email that I need to send, and it's been a day and a half, and the more minutes and hours that pass by, the more I feel like I'm hiding. It's like, oh my gosh, like it's so easy to just respond, but I don't know what's holding me back, but I know that it's so easy to get rid of this guilt. It's just to reply to this email, and it's simple, but it's just the longer that I just procrastinate, the more the guilt is going to eat me. And now that I said that, the next thing I'm going to do is send that email.
Send confirmation when you're done. Okay. It's simple things. It's really simple things that you think they get unnoticed, but they affect your feeling about yourself. Jim Rohn says something: when you are in an hotel and you leave, you turn the lights on, and you know it's the right thing to turn the lights off if you're leaving the room. You think it's simple. It's the hotel is paying, I'm not paying the electricity bills, but this feeling that you didn't turn the right light off before you leave the room, it's very small. But this guilt will affect your self-esteem. You will feel inside that you did something wrong. And imagine this is a small thing. What if it was a bigger thing? That's why people who do some huge mistakes in their lives or lie in certain situations, they won't feel confident as the people who are right and doing the right thing. You agree? So if I have a work, like I'm working with Cynthia right now, and it's very easy to tell her, oh, I'm working all day, but I'm not working. I'm lying actually to her, but the truth is I'm lying to myself, and I won't feel right about it. I won't have the confidence to succeed later in the future. I will be the loser. Do a small discipline daily in a specific area of our life. Success starts with discipline. The more we are disciplined, the more we practice, the more we will succeed. Think of just one small area of your life which you could practice and create a discipline to create success.
Yeah, no, for me, I like to meditate in the mornings, but I don't have a regular practice of it. And then I also like to review my goals and affirmations in the morning. And I want to make it a regular thing every day, every morning, and then add also every night before I go to bed. So that I just want to get better about doing those habits.
What's stopping you from creating this discipline?
I don't know.
Excuses?
Excuses, yeah, maybe like not planning, like being tired at the end of the night, waking up late and not having time to do that before starting the workday. That's another one.
let me, we are out of time. Let's go faster. I will share this story someday later. I'm talking too much today. I like this subject because it starts with the mindset. So who likes to share about a certain specific small discipline that they need to start learning every day, doing every day?
I would say maximize your time. If you say, I mean, obviously, I own a business, so it's a little bit different than being an employee. But I think even being, if you have a job, it's also maximizing your time and being committed and consistency. Consistency is key because you can say, I'm going to do all these things, or you have all these plans, but if you do certain things one time and then you stop, and then you start again a few days later, and then you stop, and then so consistency is a key, is one of the keys, I should say, is one of the keys to gain success. And also, what Michael said, right, is stay consistently focused and remind yourself every single day and several times throughout the day of your goals, and put it out in the universe, to make sure that you do what it takes to get there.
Let's do something on the Facebook group. Let's create accountability chart if you want. So you can post 2 or 3 disciplines you want to have every day, and you post when you did, like when you meditate, write down that I meditated today at 7 a.m. So let's cheer each other up, celebrate each other's victories, because it's very important. No matter how small this victory is, we need to learn how to celebrate our victories and forgive ourselves in case of failure, and know this is part of the journey. So if you meditate, write down that I meditated today, day 1, day 2, day 3. Let's create this accountability, because if you did that 1 day, 2 day, and the 3rd day you try to give up, you will feel bad because there are people who are waiting for you to keep on this schedule. You got what I mean? So accountability is very important. If you like, let's do that in the group and share this experience and commitment. We are almost out of time. Does anyone like to share? I have one more question for you. Yes, Sarah.
I just wanted to add to what Michael was saying, or he was wondering why he wasn't being consistent or committed to these things. And I just thought to myself, when I set those goals, I don't hold myself accountable. But if I had an appointment with, let's say I had an appointment for piano lessons, for karate, or whatever, I always went to those because I had to meet with someone. But if it was just me, myself, and I could get away with not doing that. So that's good that Dalida did mention the accountability, because
it's
that
very
really
important.
works.
You can give up on yourself, but you won't give up on on others, how they see you.
Yes.
The funny thing is we care about our image in front of others, but we neglect our image in front of ourselves.
Yes.
And this is, we should be accountable to ourselves, but this is the human behavior. I know myself, I don't judge myself, I love myself, so I won't commit. Let's practice 1 day strategy. If you could pick just one word to describe yourself, one word, what would it be? Let's stop.
Relentless.
Relentless? Wow.
Unstoppable.
Oh, yes. The energy, I like the energy. She like shows up with high energy. And then heights. Arthur.
Stud.
What?
A stud.
Stud. Okay. That's good. Michael is gazing away, imagining what.
Yeah, you only get one word, so I want to make it count, but I feel like I don't want to make the wrong choice to think about that.
Okay. Take your time, as long as it is a positive word and it will give you power. Sarah. And Elsa, get ready. You will say it. I need to hear your voice before we close. It's one word. It's simple.
We're limiting ourselves to that one word. Did Maisha say unstoppable?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to say that again.
You can say it. It doesn't matter. Yes, Elsa, until Sarah thinks.
Me?
Yeah.
A warrior? Warrior is a word?
One word.
Warrior. I don't know.
Warrior. Yes, warrior. Okay. I like that. Is it that hard? Okay. You can take your time with that, but I need to know this word. You need to share it with me, send it email on Facebook page, send it text, but I need to know this word. Okay?
Will do.
Okay, that's great.
I have my word. I'm sorry. So obviously I can elaborate and expand, but I'm just going to say that what comes to mind right now is I have value. I am valuable. Not, you know, and I have value. So that's my self-image, my self-esteem. I know that I have value in me, and I want to share that value with others. At work, at home, with my peers. So that's my word. I am valuable.
That's nice. If you look in the mirror and you don't see a capable, worthy, and fully valuable person, you need to change either the reflection or get a new mirror. This is the last word I would share with you. Take responsibility for your life. You are the person who draws the way or the image for your life. You can make it great. You can live as a victor, or you can live as a victim. It's what's inside that decides how you will live. People come from very hard situations, from very miserable life experience, and they can create wonderful stuff. And people who are born with a golden spoon in their mouth, and they ruin everything, and they don't do anything. So it's not the material things that you have, it's not the country that you are in or the situation that you are in, it's what you can do. What you believe you can do is what you will achieve. So you need to find the value in yourself, keep adding value to yourself, and creating value and legend out of your life. Thank you so much for today. Anyone likes to add anything?
Badass. That's my word.
You did a good job.
That's I thought you're saying it to me.
Sorry.
Hey, Michael, have you read that book?
Which one?
The word you just said.
Badass?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No.
There's a book. It's called that. It's good. It's awesome.
Okay, I'll check it out.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's a good book.
I didn't read this book. I stay away from weird books.
I don't.
Well, I mean, yeah, when so I was actually in Barnes and Nobles and I saw this young girl looking at it, I'm like, "What's that book?" She goes, "You got to read it," and it says, I won't say the word, but that's what it says. But when you read it, it's really empowering. It really is. I mean, I think it just really helps people understand that every day you got to tell yourself that. And I think that sometimes we walk around trying to make sure we please everybody and forget at the end of the day, you are one. And when you start thinking what you think and what you feel is what you do and who you become and stuff. So, but the book is good to read it. It's a good book.
Yeah, now I have to. I'm going to be held accountable by you, huh, Arthur?
Say, hey, but
I
you did a
didn't
good
share
job.
my word. I feel it's scary, but when people have scary dreams, it's more likely they will work harder to it. I would like I'm a legend because I want to influence people, help them change their lives the same way as legends like Jim Rohn and I believe Brendan Burchard have a great influence on my life. So I want to do what these people have done to me. So I believe it's a big word, but I like to think of myself this way. I'm a legend. Okay, thank you so much.
Don't feel bad. We are legends because we're creating legacies.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Thank you so much for today.
Hey,
Great job. Thank you.
I really
nice meeting you
enjoyed
all.
this session, and I would appreciate your comments or reviews on these sessions. And see you all next Thursday at 6 p.m.
Nice meeting you all.
Nice
Thank you,
meeting you guys.
Delita.
Bye, Michael. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, and bye.